Reclaiming Timeless Ways, another episode underway. Mike Traster, I'm Simon Fuller. Good day to you. We appreciate you tuning in and watching yet another episode. And this one, I'm sure the title caught you. Taboo Conversation, Mike. The title will definitely grab some eyeballs and probably pull you into this one, discussing politics and religion.
Right. It's like in my head, when I think about a comedy, I see a parrot repeating a phrase, right? And the parrot is shrill and it's got this high pitch and it sounds like somebody who's like insanely neurotic that just keeps saying the same thing. So you hear the parrot saying, "Never discuss politics or religion," right?
And
That's it.
And I'm interested to hear what you've come up with, Mike, because that's about the voice that goes into my ear. You know, in my line of work, I bump into a lot of people. Right. And, of course, I've gotten to know many of them, so I know what, over time, what you can and can't say or shouldn't say, per se. But those are just topics that can be very divisive.
They're very divisive.
And, in my opinion, oftentimes unnecessarily. We all are entitled to our own opinions. Just, but yet it can go so sideways so fast. So it's like, gosh, do I take that gamble to ruin a business relationship, a friendship, a family relationship, maybe a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? Do I want to go down that road? So I'm curious as to what you have for guidelines or tips or information or how you go about this.
Okay. I think I would start off with a foundational concept.
Yeah.
And the foundational concept is basically that to live in a civil society, people must be allowed, they must discipline themselves to listen and share their ideas with mutual respect and curiosity. Right? And what that means is that if you have been indoctrinated to earn group membership by spewing specific narratives that aren't the expression of your own thought process and logical conclusions, then you're going to be throwing these narratives like remember when we used to pick the basketball up and throw it at each other's head in gym?
Dodgeball,
right. So basically it's verbal dodgeball. You want to hit that guy in the head so hard that he gets knocked out, right? And it's like, so we've been trained to use these narratives in a very destructive way, right? And so the rules begin with civil curiosity, and you have to state the rules.
Right.
We have to be able to talk to each other with mutual respect. Right. That means I don't do this. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Right.
I'm shaming you.
Right.
I'm denigrating you. I'm telling you you're a fool.
Or you actually believe that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're denigrating me, right? You're shaming me, right?
You're thinking...
We're rolling the eyes. Jeez, what is that? It's like, I can't believe you're 30 because you sound 3 right now. That's basically the message, right? So this, slapping your sides, rolling your eyes, voice tone, these are all hostile.
Now you've created a defensive tone in the room.
Right.
And you're going to, depending on the people, you just keep upping the ante from that point until it explodes.
And there's an implied statement there. I'm a general and you're a corporal. Right? And you're about to get busted down from corporal, right? And it's like there's no equal footing there. There's no decency.
I think I like what you stated first and foremost, Mike, and that is being, and just like our last show, isn't communication so important to so many things, and understanding, because that expectation show, understanding the expectations of that conversation if you're going to go down that road. So let's say it is religion or politics, those being two topics that can get highly disputed if you're on opposite sides of that belief. Hey, here are some things, I want to talk about some things I believe, and I want to hear some things that you believe.
Right.
But let's both just understand that these are our beliefs, and like you said, a mutual curiosity. I'm curious as to why you believe that and what's going on. And the whole time, even if you disagree, you're not asking, you're listening. You should be listening to understand, not listening to respond.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Right. It's
When
not a
I'm-
boxing match.
Right. When I'm listening to you only to poke holes,
Right.
I'm going to prove Mike he's an idiot.
We're just arming ourselves.
Correct. If you can't truly come to that listening to understand and stating that rule for play both ways, then you won't end in a positive place.
No, it's going to be very destructive.
Yeah, are you okay with hearing my opinions, Mike? I don't want to offend you if they're different than me.
Right.
I'm going to say some things. I want to listen to you. Can we do that? You know?
Do you remember the film of Joe Frazier hitting Muhammad Ali in the jaw with a left hook, and Ali just flew back and he was on his butt and almost unconscious
Sure.
and shocked, right? If you talk about life with somebody that way, and all you're doing, and I'm repeating what you just said.
Right.
I'm just using an analogy.
Right.
If you have that destructive intent, there will be a destructive outcome,
Right.
right? So then the question becomes, my audience, my clan, whichever, and it could be conservative, liberal, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Native American, Hindu, Buddhist, right? My clan expects me to hit the other guy in the jaw with this hard left hook that's going to render them unconscious. I don't want to show them something new. I want to obliterate them.
Yeah.
Right? It's a war.
Right.
Right? And I'm invested in in my mind, in the cartoon of my mind, I'm getting either applause or my people are going, that's not a very good left hook, Mike. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You could have knocked him on his ass.
Yeah.
Or they could be saying, in your mind, they could say that to you, right? That's not a conversation.
Right.
That's a war.
Right.
We're trying to beat each other down.
Right.
A beatdown is not a conversation. So one of the standards is we're intending to not blow up a friendship, but to treat it with respect.
Right.
Who did I watch? It was a thing between Bishop Desmond Tutu, who I think was a Christian bishop from South Africa, and the Dalai Lama, who comes from, the Hindu tradition in, Tibet, right? They were very good friends. They were laughing a lot and sharing their insights, and they could see where they had some similarities and some differences, but the substance of their friendship was so deep that they didn't attack each other.
Right.
Because they was a treasure to them. They wanted to keep that,
Right.
So it's not a Ford, friends don't let friends drive Fords or Chevys or whatever.
Sure.
It's like, and then we laugh at each other until one feels like a fool and the other one won.
Right.
It's like, how did you actually yourself, what were the things that led you to this conviction? So one of the rules is you don't say, well, everybody knows that.
Right.
That's not an answer. That's just an attitude.
Right.
And it implies, it's a shaming attitude.
Because obviously, if you're on the other side of that aisle, no, because I don't. And so
Right.
you're right. It's an
Right.
instant.
Right.
It's an instant shame, or again,
Right.
it's
Right.
what we'd call sort of an escalator phrase.
It's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Mike? You, like you were saying before, you really believe that? I grew up with that. That's what you think.
Right.
That's what you think? You really believe that? And I'm like, shrinking. you
Right.
know? Of course, the old man had fists like anvils. I didn't want to mess with him.
Right.
He was quiet. He was a gentleman to the outside world, but at home he had a very different face.
Sure.
Right. So I was sane enough to be afraid of that other
Right.
side.
Right.
Right. But So focus, no eye rolling, no throwing the hands in the air, no slapping your side, no making sounds of disgust, right?
Sounds, or like you said earlier, gestures of any sort.
Right. So if somebody, let's say I say to you, I think particle board is better than plywood, and you go, right? What have you just done? You've taken something noxious and spit it out of your mouth, right? That's
Right.
the symbolism.
Right.
You've expelled it, right? And so what you're saying is, my idea is noxious.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, why do you think that?
Yeah.
Let's compare our experiences and see what we come up with.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Tell me more. Why do you believe that? I'm interested to know.
right? Maybe I'll learn something.
Right.
Or maybe you will.
Correct.
It could be either one of us.
Your brains are still open to receiving when you're talking like that. They're not open to receiving with a tss
Right.
or a, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
So the request for why did you come? How did you come to that? Actually deserves an honest and a direct answer. And
Sure.
it might be a little history in there, but you don't want a bunch of meandering and avoidance.
Right.
You want an answer.
Right.
So no eye rolling, no throwing the hands in the air, slapping the hips, no exhalation like you're spitting out poison or disgusting sounds. No making faces, like an aggressive child.
Right.
Showing derision, right? And you can literally picture a bunch of hostile, totally dysfunctional and destructive junior high school people doing taking all of these steps to break each other down. This is not civil discourse.
Right.
And it's not adult discourse.
Right.
Right? So if we break each other's honor and value down, we are literally throwing down the gauntlet on the friendship.
Yeah.
Where's the sanity in that?
Right.
Right? What the audience that we're playing to, their approval of us in our mind's eye is more important than our friendship.
Yeah.
At this point, we've literally put that person in the dumpster.
And sometimes that is the intention of folks
It
out
is,
there.
yes.
But when you're
True.
truly trying to have a conversation, which we should do, like you said,
We should.
civil, just being civil to one another, whether we like them or not,
Right.
we all deserve that sort of treatment. I don't know. It's certainly a shame out there. I'd add to that, Mike. One of the biggest things is a willingness. Again, and I kind of said it earlier. I'm just saying it differently now. Is a willingness to listen. I've been in
Right.
conversations, and one such friend actually, we are able to, for the most part, have genuine conversations without walking away hating one another.
Right.
But one thing that can really be disruptive to a true conversation about one of these topics is not allowing the other to finish their thought without interruptions.
Right.
Because you instantly hear something, you're instantly triggered, you want to comment on that, write it down or jot it in your brain.
Exactly.
Because that's okay to comment on it. It is not okay to, what? But wait, Mike,
Right.
let me tell you something about that.
Right.
Well, I believe this because, whoa, let me just explain.
You
No,
lose your train of thought.
Right, and I'm not saying that you're right or I'm right. I'll get my chance to give you some knowledge to then put in your collective brain to decipher and decide. But if I do that mid-sentence when you're trying to go, that's very irritating. And it's hard to keep that
When you get
conversation
deep-
rolling.
Well, when you get deeply distracted, you literally lose your grasp on your subject,
Right,
because the emotional intensity of the distraction makes you lose that bit of RAM on your screen.
and it's an indicator that you aren't trying to hear what I'm saying. You're listening to respond, not to listen. is oftentimes how that can be misinterpreted or interpreted properly.
And you say listening to respond, and I'm thinking, wow, that's a nice way to say waiting to attack. Right?
You're right.
You know?
You're exactly right.
Like a leopard.
Right.
He's in the tree and he's like, I'm gonna bite you.
Right.
You know? I'm gonna get
Exactly.
you. And it's like, so the whole conversation, if the foundational intention is I'm gonna get you,
Right.
you lost before you started.
Bingo.
Right.
Don't even start.
Right. So what is our what is our original intent?
Right.
And is it good or bad to state an original intention?
Yeah.
Right. So I think the one thing I've learned, because this distraction thing happens to me, and then I lose my train of thought, and it's like, oh, I had something important to say. I might say, can you wait 1 minute while I write this down?
Right.
Hold on to your train of thought. I just want to write down this 3 words.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because it's important,
Right.
you know. So, yeah, and maybe we'll learn something,
Right.
you know.
Right. That would be the idea behind a conversation, Mike. We're all different.
Yeah,
We all get to be.
right. You know, and I, just before we close, one idea just came to mind, which is not a typical political one, is motorcycle helmets,
Right.
right? And so it's like, you know, somebody could get enraged and say, well, it's nobody's business. How dare you tell me what to do? That would be one point of view. Another one would be, well, how stupid are you? Don't you know what's going to happen? How about just step back and say, well, tell me your experience
Right.
each way, you know, or what I don't want to see happen to you.
Right.
I'm not going to try to force this down your throat, but here's,
Or I've seen this happen and I don't want that to happen to you.
right,
I'm saying this because I care about you, not because I don't value your opinion.
I don't want to see your brains running out of your ears.
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Politics and religion.
Bingo.
Boy, we were able to get through a show. We didn't choke each other. Maybe we can, I guess we didn't really get into it, but maybe it can be done, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mike, thanks for taking some time on this topic.
you.
Thank you for joining us. And we hope you'll share this show along with other episodes. For Mike and I'm Simon saying, have a great day.
Take care.